a very powerful exercise called the skills map. And the best way I could explain it is to actually take you through a real world example. So going back about 7 years, I got a call from the VP of HR of this company called AeroGrow, who told me that, excuse me, he was tasked by his chairman to add a board member. He wasn't given more direction than that. He did a query on LinkedIn, found me there, and said, Mike, you look interesting on paper. Let me tell you about my company, just a sentence or two today, and then if this is something you'd like to explore, let's get an hour or two on the calendar next week. I said, yeah, what does AeroGrow do? He went on to explain that they make seedlings for special purposes. So if you lived in Manhattan and you had a tiny apartment, but you were hell-bent on growing cherry tomatoes in your kitchen and miniature lemon limes on your deck, they would sell you those seedlings. So I told him his name was Harry. Yes, let's get some time on the calendar next week. We booked 2 hours. Now, this is perfect. Gave me a whole week to study about AeroGrow. We have our call on the calendar the following week, and he proceeds to go through a list of questions. I could just see he's got it in front of him. It's about 18 or 19 questions long, and I'm smart enough to realize he probably was talking to 10 other potential candidates on that day. He finishes. I was a good interviewee. I felt a little bit like a root canal, but I didn't let that show. But, thank God at the end, he said, hey, Mike, we got a few more minutes. Do you have anything for me? And I said, Harry, I had so much fun studying your company, thinking about this call. I had so much fun thinking about this follow-up call today. I took a stab at what skills I thought your company needed to be successful in the marketplace. And Harry, by the way, are you online? I'd like to send you 2 PDF slides. Yeah, Mike, I'm on the line. Send them over. He doesn't know where I'm going with this yet. So I send him 2 slides. Here's the first one. So I said, Harry, I had so much fun. I took a stab at guessing at what skills I thought you needed to be successful and where you already had the bases covered, either with board members or VPs, based on my reading their bios on the website and or reading their LinkedIn profiles. So Harry, if you're looking at the first slide, what I did on the x-axis, left to right, is I listed the skills that I guess you need to be successful. So number 1, marketing and direct-to-consumer skills, followed by sales skills, ops, since you do your own fulfillment, finance, leverage, international, I listed as a skill only because even though you don't do it today, in one of your press releases, your chairman mentioned he had ambition to go outside of the universe at some point in time. And then on the y-axis, I listed names. So here's Michael, who's your EVP of Marketing and Sales. He's got it in spades. Randy on your board, I noticed he was an ex-P&G brand manager. He's got it in spades. Mitchell, John, Jerry, VPs in your company, they've got it a little less so I put them further down on the y-axis. But regardless, you've got marketing covered. Sales, here's your Michael again. He towers in sales skills, but one of your other press releases talks about someday ambition is to go to the retail channel, not just be an internet fulfillment company. But I created a big yellow box here because I didn't see anybody on the board or any VP in the company, based on my reading their bios and LinkedIn profiles, who had ever called on a retailer. Hence, I created this yellow box. Similarly, in ops, you do your own fulfillment. I didn't see in any of the bios there was any lean manufacturing experience. And international, which is further down the list of skills, but I did list it again because your chairman said he wants to go beyond the U.S., but I didn't see a single shred of evidence anybody at the board level or in the company at the VP level had any international experience, hence the yellow void box. So I said, Harry, let's flip to the second slide. And what I've done here is I've inserted my own name, Mike L. So as I'm talking to Harry again here, marketing direct to consumer, I already concluded you don't need any help, man. You got all the horsepower in the world. I threw my name in here anyway, but you don't need it. I'd be redundant. Sales, where your chairman does want to add retail someday, but nobody has got any experience. For my Pepsi days, as we talked earlier today, you know that part of my responsibility was to call on retailers. So I really think, if you agree with me that that's a void, I could add value. I could add value in a box where right now you've got a skills gap. Ops, where you've got nobody that's done lean manufacturing. I've done it with 3 of the private equity companies I've run. Further down, international, where you're chairman who wants to do it, but no one has ever done it. I didn't say it in a condescending way to him, of course. You know that I built Pizza Hut's international division back when PepsiCo owned it. In any event, here's the punchline. He's got my 2 slides. I've taken him through it. He hasn't said boo. I figure this is completely wrong, or he thinks I'm a doofus. And he ended the interview very gracefully. 7 weeks later, he called me up. Mike, remember me? Harry. Ergo. I said, yeah, Harry, good to hear from you. What's going on? Hey, I just want you to know, Mike, I have my board meeting tomorrow. I'm going to present a slate of 7 candidates. Now, I need to tell you up front, you're not the top pick. In fact, you're only tied for my number 2 choice. But that's not why I'm calling. When you took me through that exercise of yours 7 weeks ago with those 2 PDF slides, if you still have it, would you mind sending me the Excel version this afternoon? Now, at that point, I had to put my hand over my mouth to keep from bursting out laughing. Harry wanted to take the 2 Excel slides. He loved my model, obviously. He was going to drop in the 7 candidates that he was profiling in front of the board tomorrow and come across as the smartest HR guy on the planet. Fast forward, they did fly me out. I did get the offer. I actually turned it down for compensation reasons. That's not the point of our story here this afternoon with Tony. The point of the story is doing a skills map is unbelievably powerful. It demonstrates 3 things: how studious you are, and that you took the time to try to study the company and figure out what skills they need. Further, you invested a lot of time to read bios and LinkedIn profiles, and you put together this kind of interesting model, and I'd be willing to bet anybody on this ExecuNet call today, your stab at it is probably going to be pretty close, okay? But the third thing it demonstrates is, as you know, as you've set this thing up, I mean, I confess, you set it up in a little Machiavellian way. Obviously, you've got a keen eye out, hoping you could find gaps for which you are going to, uniquely fill. Hence, if they're talking to 5 candidates, you're the person. So have some fun with this too. I had an IT client of mine, and given that everybody knows cyber is very much in demand, no company thinks that they're on top of cyber. As he was doing the skills map, he listed not only these kinds of skills, he listed cyber. And he listed it because he happened to be an expert in it. Again, when you're setting the skills map up, you've got a keen eye out for gaps that you uniquely are going to fill.